Do you know what's exhausting you? It's not your life, it's your thoughts about life, the battles you keep fighting inside your head that never even happen in reality. Today, I want you to stop overthinking, because overthinking is stealing your peace, your sleep, your happiness, and even your opportunities. Overthinking is something we all do, but very few of us truly understand how much damage it can cause. It is not just a habit, it is a mental trap. Imagine you are holding a cup of water. It is light at first, but if you keep holding it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour, your arm begins to ache. The weight didn't change, but your ability to carry it did. This is exactly how overthinking works. The thought itself may not be heavy, but when you carry it for too long, it becomes unbearable. Understanding overthinking starts with recognizing its signs. Sometimes you sit alone, replaying the same conversation from yesterday, wondering why you said, what the other person meant, and what might happen next. Or maybe you are stuck worrying about the future, creating hundreds of scenarios in your mind about what could go wrong. You are not solving a problem, you are just imagining problems. That is the difference between thinking and overthinking. Thinking is useful, it leads to solutions. Overthinking is destructive, it creates more problems than it solves. Your mind is a powerful tool, but when you allow it to run without control, it becomes your enemy. Overthinking can create stress where there is no reason for stress, fear where there is no danger, and confusion where clarity is possible. When you understand this, you realize that overthinking is not a sign of intelligence or deep reflection. It is a misuse of your mental energy. One reason people overthink is because they want certainty. The human brain does not like uncertainty, so it keeps running scenarios, trying to predict the outcome. But life was never designed to be fully predictable. No matter how much you think, you will never have full control over tomorrow. This is why overthinking feels so exhausting, because you are trying to control something that was never yours to control. Another important thing to understand is that overthinking often comes from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong decision. You keep thinking because you want to avoid pain. Ironically, overthinking causes more pain than the actual event you are worried about. How many nights have you lost sleep worrying about something that, when it finally happened, wasn't even as bad as you imagined? That is the nature of overthinking. It magnifies the problem in your head until it feels 10 times bigger than it really is. To understand overthinking better, you must pay attention to how it affects your body. Notice how your heart beats faster when you are caught in a loop of thoughts, how your muscles feel tense, how your breathing becomes shallow. Your body doesn't know that these are just thoughts. It thinks something dangerous is happening and prepares for a fight. This is why overthinking can lead to anxiety, headaches, and even physical illness over time. Understanding this connection helps you take the first step toward breaking the cycle. You realize that overthinking is not harmless. It is costing you your peace, your focus, and your health. You start to see that most of what you fear is based on imagination, not reality. This awareness is powerful because you cannot change what you do not notice. Once you understand overthinking, you can start to challenge it. The next time you catch yourself replaying the past or worrying about the future, pause and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it is not helping you solve anything, it is not worth your energy. Understanding overthinking is not about stopping your brain from thinking. That is impossible. It is about learning to guide your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. It is about learning when to stop, when to let go, and when to replace fear with trust. When you truly understand how overthinking works, you stop being its victim and start taking back control over your mind. Trusting the process is one of the hardest but most liberating things you can do in life. We live in a world where everything feels urgent. You want results today. You want answers now. You want to know where your life is going, when things will get better, and why certain things are happening. When you cannot see the full picture, your mind starts to panic, and that's when overthinking takes over. But trusting the process means accepting that you do not need to have all the answers right now. It means believing that what you are going through has a purpose, even if you cannot see it yet. Think about how a seed grows into a tree. You bury it in the ground where no one can see it. For days, sometimes weeks, there is no visible sign of life. But beneath the soil, something amazing is happening. The seed is breaking open, forming roots and preparing to grow. If you dig it up too soon to check its progress, you kill the process. In the same way, there are times in your life when you feel like nothing is happening. You are working hard, you are waiting, you are praying, and yet you see no change. This is where trust becomes essential. Just because you do not see growth does not mean growth is not happening. Trusting the process requires you to let go of the illusion of control. You cannot force certain doors to open before their time. You cannot rush healing, success, or change. The process is not designed to torture you. It is designed to prepare you. Every delay is shaping you, teaching you patience, building your strength, and refining your character. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and realize why things had to happen the way they did. When you do not trust the process, you live in constant frustration. You compare yourself to others who seem to be ahead. You question every choice you make. You doubt yourself and sometimes even give up before you reach the breakthrough. But when you trust, you shift from panic to peace. You stop forcing things and start flowing with life. You stop worrying about when and how, and you focus on doing your best with what you have right now. Trusting the process does not mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you take action where you can and leave the rest where it belongs, in the hands of time and destiny. It means you focus on planting the right seeds every day, good habits, positive thoughts, consistent effort. The harvest will come when it is supposed to. There is also a deep sense of freedom that comes with trust. You free yourself from the pressure of trying to control every outcome. You learn to breathe again, to sleep again, to live again without carrying the weight of the future on your shoulders. Trust reminds you that what is meant for you will not miss you. Even if it takes longer, even if the road is different from what you imagined, it will find you at the right time. Sometimes the process takes you through pain before it takes you to peace. You may lose people, face disappointments, and go through failures. But every experience is part of the journey that shapes who you are becoming. Trust teaches you to find meaning even in the pain. Instead of asking, why me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift changes everything. When you trust the process, you stop living in fear. Fear says, what if it never works out? Trust says, what if it does? Fear focuses on the unknown. Trust focuses on possibility. Fear makes you overthink. Trust allows you to rest. At the heart of trusting the process is faith that there is a bigger picture, that the dots will connect, and that life is not random. You are exactly where you need to be right now, even if it does not feel like it. Every step you take is leading you somewhere. Keep walking. Keep believing. Trust that the process is working for you, not against you. Living in the present moment is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, yet it is one of the most difficult. Most people are either trapped into the past or worried about the future. They replay yesterday's mistakes over and over, or they spend hours imagining what might go wrong tomorrow. In both cases, they miss the only moment that truly exists right now. Life is not happening yesterday or tomorrow. Life is happening here, in this exact second. If you keep missing the present, you miss life itself. Think about how much time is wasted in regret. You keep thinking about what you could have said, what you should have done, how things could have been different. But no matter how much you think about it, you cannot rewrite the past. It has already happened. The more you hold on to it, the heavier it feels. The same is true for the future. You keep worrying about things that have not even happened yet, playing out scenarios in your mind that may never occur. This robs you of your peace and stops you from enjoying what is right in front of you. Living in the present is about shifting your focus away from what is out of your control and choosing to experience what is real right now. It is about noticing the small things you often ignore: the sound of the wind, the warmth of the sun, the smile on a loved one's face, the breath in your lungs. These are moments you cannot get back once they are gone. The mind loves to wander. It will pull you back to old memories or push you forward into imaginary fears. But every time you bring yourself back to the now, you reclaim power. This is why mindfulness is so powerful. It teaches you to become aware of the present. Even something as simple as taking a deep breath and feeling it fill your lungs can snap you out of the spiral of overthinking. Living in the present does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or forgetting your goals. It means doing what you need to do today with full focus and trust that tomorrow will take care of itself. You can plan for the future, but you cannot live in it. You can learn from the past, but you cannot stay there. The only thing you can truly influence is the moment you are in right now. When you start living in the present, life feels lighter. You stop overloading your mind with what ifs and start appreciating what is. You begin to see that there is beauty in this moment, even if things are not perfect. You learn to find joy in small victories, to be grateful for simple blessings, and to stop waiting for some distant day to be happy. Happiness is not a destination, it is a decision you make in this moment. One of the most liberating things about the present moment is that it gives you a fresh start at any time, no matter how badly yesterday went. Today is a chance to think differently, act differently, and live differently. Each morning is like a reset button for your mind and heart. But if you are stuck in yesterday's pain or tomorrow's fear, you miss that opportunity. Living in the present moment also makes your relationship stronger. When you truly listen to someone instead of thinking about what you will say next, when you give them your full attention, you make them feel valued. Being present is a gift not only to yourself but to everyone around you. Most importantly, living in the present helps you silence the endless noise in your head. Overthinking loses its grip because it feeds on the past and the future. When you bring your attention back to now, those thoughts begin to fade. You realize that in this moment you are okay, in this moment you are breathing, in this moment you are safe, and that is enough. One of the most effective ways to stop overthinking is to replace endless thoughts with deliberate action. Overthinking traps you in a cycle where you keep analyzing, doubting, and imagining instead of moving forward. It gives you the illusion of progress because you feel busy inside your head, but nothing in your life actually changes. Action is the antidote to that mental chaos. When you act, you interrupt the loop of worry and give your brain something real to focus on. Think about the last time you overthought a decision. You probably spent hours or even days considering every possible outcome, wondering what might go wrong, and creating scenarios that never even happened. But the moment you finally made a choice and took the first step, you felt a sense of relief. That is because action brings clarity. You can think about something for weeks, but you will never truly know how it feels until you do it. Action does not have to be big. In fact, it often starts with very small steps. If you are worried about a project, start by writing a list of what needs to be done. If you are anxious about a conversation, write down what you want to say. If you are overwhelmed by too many thoughts, take out a journal and put those thoughts on paper. The act of doing something, anything, breaks the cycle of overthinking. The key is to shift from asking what if to asking what now. Overthinking lives in the future, but action lives in the present. When you act, you anchor yourself in the moment and give yourself proof that you are capable of moving forward. Even if the outcome is not perfect, you learn, you adjust, and you try again. Sometimes fear keeps you from acting because you want everything to be perfect before you start. You wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. But perfection never comes. The more you wait, the louder the overthinking becomes. That is why you must teach yourself to take imperfect action. Start where you are with what you have. You can always improve along the way, but you cannot improve what you never begin. Action also gives your mind direction. When you sit idle, your brain has space to wander, to imagine worst-case scenarios, to create problems that don't exist. But when you are engaged in something meaningful, your energy is used constructively. You are too focused on the task to keep worrying about every little thing. Another powerful aspect of replacing thoughts with action is momentum. The first step may feel difficult, but once you take it, the second step becomes easier. Then the third, and soon you are in motion. Momentum silences doubt because you are no longer stuck in hesitation. You start to see results, even small ones, and those results fuel your confidence. It is also important to remember that not taking action is a decision too, but it is a decision that leads to regret. Overthinking convinces you that staying still is safer, but in reality, inaction slowly drains your energy and steals your opportunities. Every day you delay is a day you could have used to grow, to learn, to move closer to your goals. Replacing thoughts with action does not mean ignoring your emotions. It means channeling them into something productive. If you are angry, turn that anger into fuel to fix the problem. If you are scared, take one small step despite the fear. If you are sad, do something that helps you heal instead of sitting in the sadness. The truth is, your thoughts will never fully stop, but you can choose not to let them control you. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, take one simple action, no matter how small. Call someone, write something, move your body, start the thing you keep delaying. Action will do more to calm your mind than hours of thinking ever will. One of the most powerful ways to stop overthinking is by strengthening your faith and practicing gratitude every single day. Overthinking often comes from a place of fear of what might happen, fear of losing control, fear of making the wrong choice. Faith is the opposite of fear. Faith is believing that even when you cannot see the full picture, there is a reason behind what is happening and it will work out for your good in the end. When you truly build faith, your heart becomes lighter because you no longer feel the need to control every detail of life. Faith teaches you to let go of what you cannot control. You might not know why certain delays happen, why doors close, or why you face challenges that seem unfair, but faith whispers that there is a bigger plan. This belief allows you to breathe again. Instead of asking, why me? You start asking, what am I meant to learn from this? That simple shift changes how you see everything. Suddenly, challenges no longer feel like punishment, they feel like preparation. When your faith is strong, you stop living in fear of the future. You realize that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and what is not meant for you is being removed for a reason. This trust quiets the storm in your mind. It gives you permission to live with peace even when everything around you is uncertain. Alongside faith, gratitude plays a major role in silencing overthinking. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. Overthinking often magnifies problems, making you feel like nothing is going right. But when you pause and count your blessings, you realize that even in your most difficult moments, there is still so much to be thankful for. The breath in your lungs, the food you eat, the people who care about you, the strength you've had to survive until now, these are not small things. Gratitude opens your eyes to the good that is already in your life, which reduces the weight of your worries. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring your struggles. It means acknowledging them but refusing to let them define your entire perspective. You can say, yes, this is hard, but I still have things to be thankful for. That attitude helps you see opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. One of the best ways to strengthen both faith and gratitude is through daily reflection. Take a few minutes each morning or evening to write down things you are grateful for and moments where you felt supported, guided, or protected even in ways you didn't expect. Over time, this trains your brain to focus on the good instead of constantly imagining what could go wrong. Faith and gratitude together create a powerful shield for your mind. Faith tells you that you are not alone, that there is meaning in the waiting, that things are aligning for your benefit. Gratitude reminds you that even now, in this moment, you already have enough to smile about. This combination breaks the cycle of overthinking because it replaces fear with trust and anxiety with appreciation. When you strengthen your faith, you stop trying to predict every outcome. When you practice gratitude, you stop complaining about every inconvenience. The more you do both, the more peace you feel. Your heart becomes steady, your mind becomes calm, and you begin to enjoy life as it unfolds. You cannot stop challenges from coming, but with faith and gratitude, you can face them with courage instead of panic. You can sleep at night knowing that what is for you will come, and what is not will leave. You can wake up each day focused on what is good rather than drowning in what-ifs. Strengthening faith and gratitude is not a one-time act, it is a daily choice. But with each choice, you weaken the power of overthinking and strengthen the power of peace within you. Creating mental boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself from overthinking. Most people think of boundaries only in terms of relationships, saying no to others, setting limits on what people can demand from you. But there is another type of boundary that is just as important, the boundaries you set for your own mind. Without them, your thoughts can run wild, dragging you into endless loops of worry, regret, and fear. Mental boundaries are about deciding what deserves your attention and what does not. Your mind is like a house, and not every thought deserves an invitation inside. Some thoughts are visitors that bring peace, clarity, and direction, but others are intruders that bring chaos, stress, and confusion. Creating mental boundaries means learning to recognize the difference and refusing to give unnecessary thoughts a place to stay. The problem with overthinking is that you entertain every thought as if it is important, but not every thought is true. Not every thought is useful. Some thoughts are just noise and you have the power to shut the door on them. One way to create mental boundaries is to limit the time you spend thinking about a problem. If something is bothering you, give yourself a set amount of time, maybe 10 minutes to think about it. Write down your thoughts and decide what action you can take. Once that time is over, make a conscious decision to let it go. If the thought returns, remind yourself that you already dealt with it during your thinking time. This practice teaches your brain that it does not get to control your entire day with the same repetitive worry. Another important mental boundary is protecting what you allow into your mind in the first place. What you consume, the news you watch, the conversations you engage in, the social media you scroll through can fill your mind with negativity, fear, and comparison. If you constantly feed your brain with things that trigger worry, it is no wonder that you struggle with overthinking. Be selective with what you watch, read, and listen to. Guard your mental space the way you guard your home. Mental boundaries also mean saying no to thoughts that are out of your control. You cannot control how someone else feels about you, what they say, or what decisions they make. Yet overthinking often fixates on these things. Creating boundaries means reminding yourself, this is not my responsibility. This does not belong to me. You focus only on what you can change, your actions, your reactions, your perspective, and let the rest go. It is also important to create mental boundaries with your own inner critic. Overthinking is often fueled by harsh self-talk. You keep replaying your mistakes, punishing yourself for what you said or didn't say, and questioning your worth. A mental boundary here means stopping that voice mid-sentence and replacing it with something kinder. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to forgive yourself and move on. Another way to enforce mental boundaries is through mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, or simply being still. These moments teach your brain that it does not have to jump at every thought. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This separation is powerful because it reminds you that you are in control, not the endless chatter in your mind. Creating mental boundaries does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that problems do not exist. It means choosing where to direct your energy and refusing to let negativity take over your entire mental space. It means teaching your brain that it cannot hijack your peace whenever it wants. Over time, these boundaries make your mind calmer, clearer, and more focused. You stop overanalyzing every little thing because you have trained yourself to recognize what matters and what does not. You start living with intention instead of reaction. And most importantly, you protect your peace, which is the most valuable thing you have.